Hello YouTube, my name's James. I'm here from Tech Radar to talk to you about the Oppo F1. Now this is a Chinese smartphone that not many of you have probably heard of, but it does have an 8 megapixel front-facing selfie camera. It's the headline feature of this phone, so we decided to take it and compare it to 4 of our favourite phones of this year, including the Sony Z5 Premium, the iPhone 6s, the Hauwaii Mate8 and the Samsung Galaxy S6. So I'm going to go get my blue steel on, we're going to take some selfie photos and we're going to see which one turns out best. And first up we have the iPhone 6s. Now on the front of this phone is a 5 megapixel camera. So our first images come out really warm. If you look at the background you can see the red bricks, they're coming out really nice, and so are the colours of my face. It's quite contrasted compared to some of the other images we're going to see later, but it's not overly contrasted and makes a really good image. So next up we have the main event, the Oppo F1. It has an 8 megapixel front-facing camera, a big trend in Chinese phones at the moment. So the shadows in this image are a lot darker than the iPhone 6s. The blacks are coming out a lot more here, but I think it makes them for a much more natural image. And the image quality is quite strong as well. If you look at the zip on my coat, you can really tell what the camera can do. So next up we have the Samsung Galaxy S6. Now this is the oldest phone on our list and it's probably going to be replaced with the Samsung Galaxy S7 in the next couple of weeks. If you compare the selfie image that I've taken here next to the Oppo F1, this one's a little bit duller and the contrast isn't as high, but the image quality is really good considering you haven't got an 8 megapixel camera in front of you. And now we have the Hauwaii Mate8, another Chinese competitor that's doing really well for selfies at the moment. So the Mate 8 also comes with an 8 megapixel camera, like the Oppo F1 does. The highlight here is the image quality. If you look around my coat again, you're picking up a few details which some of the other cameras haven't managed to get yet. You're also picking up a few of the skin imperfections on my face, which some people might not really like. That's why the Mate 8 comes with a beauty mode. It blurs out some of your skin imperfections for whenever you want to look a little bit prettier. And last but not least, we have the Sony Z5 Premium. Now this is a brand of phone which really prides himself on the rear camera, so let's see what he can do on the front. And the final image we took turned out really cold actually. When you look at this photo compared to some of the others, it's quite a disappointment. It's a 5.1 megapixel camera, so it should really hold its own against the iPhone 6s and the Samsung Galaxy S6. But it really doesn't seem to do that. If you look at the image quality, it's not as high as either of those phones, and it's quite disappointing really. So what have we learned? We've got all 5 images here for you, and as you can tell, they're all really similar. We are really picking up on some little details here. But the Hauwaii and the Oppo definitely come out with the more natural images here. I personally choose them over the iPhone 6s, but I can understand why some people would want that warmer image. Personally, I don't really like the Sony Z5 Premium's front-facing camera. I think it's too dull, but it's not a feature just to choose a phone on. There are many other things you want to be looking at. You're really only using your front-facing camera for Snapchat and sending silly photos to your friends, so it's not the main highlight of a phone. The Oppo F1 really sells itself on that front-facing camera, but when you look at some of the other spec compared to these phones, it's not up to scratch. We'd really recommend having a look around at some of our reviews so you know what other features you'll want in your pocket rather than just focusing on the selfie camera. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And if you've got any other ideas for what phone features you'd like us to compare, be sure to drop them in the comments below.